Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Okay, good evening, good afternoon. As the hour is 6:30, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome to the April 28th, 2025 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting. And first order of business for the next half hour, the board will be going down to the wheelwright room to conduct 3 board interviews. We'll be returning at approximately 7 o'clock to commence our regular business meeting. Thank you.
For this week's report. Residents blast off for one last time at Planet Playground. Designs for Pearpoint Park are discussed. The Exeter Art Walk is back. The Exeter Lions Club helps children with free eye screenings. And CSX railway workers wrap up a tie replacement job in town. For Exeter TV, I'm Bob Glowacki, and this is the Exeter Biweekly Report. Let's get started. Good afternoon, Exeter. Thanks for tuning into the show today. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and like this video to help spread word about the show and all things Exeter. For our first segment, the beloved Planet Playground is being upgraded, so the Parks and Rec Department hosted one final blast-off before demolition began.
For 28 years, Planet Playground has stood as an iconic piece of Exeter recreation. But as time has gone on, the structure that once provided a safe and fun environment for children to play can no longer support the demands that were placed on it. With splintering wood, structural deficiencies, and accessibility issues, it's time for the beloved Planet Playground to pass on and a new Planet Playground to be constructed in its place.
It has been well loved, and now it's time for the next version. Like the best built ship, it can only take so many crashing waves before it's time to take a rest. So I'm excited to see what happens, but today we are here to play Playground one last time and enjoy this beautiful treasure.
Let's roll back the clock to 1998, when Nintendo released the Game Boy Color. Mulan just hit theaters, and a new company called Google was created. Here in Exeter, a huge community effort had been in the works, and it was finally time to put planned efforts into action. Construction of Planet Playground was underway. Exeter residents got together and as a community constructed the playground in its entirety.
Each team captain was assigned a certain area and literally digging, posts. How deep are the posts, Bob?
Very deep.
Right?
I was on post holding.
Yeah, right.
They were telephone poles that are embedded in the ground. We borrowed a tractor with a auger.
With a lot of work to be done, it was clear that the entire community needed to chip in order to get this project done.
We involved everybody from seniors to youth. Kids from SST were involved. All the elementary schools were involved. There was literally thousands of people involved.
The efforts of these individuals did not go unappreciated. Children have been able to play and make memories on this iconic wooden playground for nearly 3 decades, all because of the efforts put forth by volunteers so many years ago.
It was truly a beautiful community experience. I can't even tell you, it's really made a difference in my life.
In order to pay respect to the playground that provided so much for the community, Exeter residents got together to play on Planet Playground one last time before it was decommissioned.
We saw creativity come out in our children every single day. Some of them used it as a spaceship. Some of them used it as a tower, as a princess in there. And the beautiful piece about Planet Playground is it's always been a universal playground where kids can be who they want to be and what they want to be.
Families found it hard to say goodbye when so many memories have been stored within this park.
Back then, these kids who are now 30-year-old adults, 25 years ago were 5 years old, and their handprints are still on the old Planet Playground.
Well, I don't like change. So luckily we've saved some of the components of the playground, and they're going to be using that, and I think it's great. Everybody loves it here. Just really great.
There's a lot of memories here, so it's an emotional day, I think, for a lot of families. I can only say that there's good things to come.
While it's sad to see this playground go, it's exciting to know that a new Planet Playground is already on its way.
Playground standards have changed dramatically. One of the things that we really want to achieve here is to make it a truly accessible experience.
Greg Bison approached us with the schematics for the new playground, and what an opportunity to be able to get in front of a fully accessible playground, something that seems so cutting edge here in the state of New Hampshire, to be a part of a new chapter of this old legacy playground was an incredible opportunity.
Universal builds don't just benefit people with mobility disabilities, they benefit everyone. So it will be a really inclusive space for everyone in the community and beyond to come and play with their children. And
we're looking forward to a new, fresh look of the recreation park as we do future enhancements, and thank you to the residents for support. Without their support, this would not be possible.
With time to play in the playground running out, children got on the swing, popped out of the slide, and hopped in the spaceship one last time before the sun went down and demolition was slated to begin.
On the count of 3, to break this in, I want everybody to say blast off with me. 1, 2, 3. Blast off! Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
And then it was time for demolition to begin. The iconic community-built and well-loved wooden playground is now gone. But the empty site where Planet Playground once stood is prepped for the launch of Planet Playground 2.
The Pearpoint Park Stakeholders Advisory Committee discussed 3 design ideas at their recent meetings. Dan Monchek has a recap from our Meeting Minutes series.
This is your meeting minute for the April 10th and April 17th Pearpoint Park Stakeholders Advisory Committee meeting. The purpose of this committee is to take a look at the town-owned property located at 23 Water Street and provide recommendations to the Select Board on how to take this abandoned lot and turn it into a downtown community park for all people of Exeter to enjoy. The committee has put together a series of proposed designs for the park. They are now seeking public input in the form of a survey to help determine which design will best suit the needs of the community.
Is if someone has a lot to say, what's really integral to this process is giving people the opportunity to say it.
We prepared 3 drawings for 3 different design concepts for the park, and these were based on the discussions that we've had, the public input, and frankly really heavily on the design concepts that everyone sketched out.
Option 1 is an elevated deck that extends from the sidewalk all the way to the river's edge. This design includes 1,800 square feet of fully accessible gathering space, a cutout in the deck for native trees, playful seating, and native vegetation. Option 2, known as the Shady Bosque, features a gently sloped walkway down to the edge of the river. It includes 1,400 square feet of gathering space, movable seating, and an overlook onto the river. Option 3, the Serpentine Path, turns the site into a gently sloped, winding path that leads to a curved overlook of the water. This design features rain gardens, planted mounds with artwork, and seating pods with 525 square feet of accessible gathering space. If you're interested in taking the survey, it can be found on the homepage of our website at exeternh.gov. Or, if you prefer a physical copy, the survey can be found at the town offices, the Exeter Library, and the Senior Center. Here you can choose your favorite designs to help determine the future of this park.
The annual Exeter Art Walk is back next weekend. Will Tapley has more information.
Looking for a weekend adventure that sparks your imagination? Join us for the 2025 Exeter Art Walk on Saturday, May 3rd and Sunday, May 4th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Explore local studios, meet the artists, and discover breathtaking art just in time to find that perfect Mother's Day gift. The event takes place across 11 different local art studios in town. Try to visit them all. Take a break, soothe your soul, and enjoy the creativity that makes our community so special at the 2025 Exeter Art Walk. Visit artupfrontstreet.com for more information.
The Exeter Lions Club helps the community in many ways. This week, we tagged along with several of their members as they visited Great Bay Kids to learn more about the club's vision screening program. On a bright spring morning, members of the Exeter Lions Club were at Great Bay Kids setting up for a vision screening as a part of the club's Operation KidSite program.
Can you sit right in this chair for us? There you go. That's good. Nice.
Lions is an international organization, so we have a program for sight, which is screening children's eyes with a spot screener.
Oops. You're doing a great job. There we go.
Excellent.
We screen children from 6 months old to about 8 years. That's when the eyes are developing, and so that's the best time to actually catch any particular problem.
The club offers the free screening program to SAU 16 schools in the fall, and in the spring it worked with daycares and childcare facilities.
Okay, Emma. Look at the bright lights.
The Lions Club has been coming in, as far as I'm aware. I've been here for almost 9 years, and they come in and they screen our 3-year-olds to our 5-year-olds with parent permission to look for any eye issues or screenings or anything. We also have teacher recommendations for children that may need assistance with glasses and or for their eyesight, for depth perception, for moving around the playground, moving around the classroom, anything like that. So some of our teachers have recommended that the parents sign up for it, and it is a free service, so why not? So it works out for everybody.
The screenings are very quick and easy. While a child sits down, a member of the Lions Club moves the screener to get a close-up of the child's eyes. Once the screener has the correct angle and lighting, it automatically captures the required data.
There we go. All set. Thank you.
The screener then prints out a full report which can be given to the parents.
All set.
That sounds like
Excellent.
That sounds like a bird.
Yes.
It does.
Well, it will pick up lazy eye. It's a reflective process and also what they call gaze. So nearsighted, farsighted, misaligned eyes, problem with pupils, one being larger than the other, typical childhood eye diseases. And the importance of this is in terms of their life and socialization, but even more so in the classroom and learning, reading, and observing, so they will be able to see as they should be able to see. It makes a tremendous difference in students' ability to learn and have a good life.
It was so quick and easy that in between groups of students, I sat down in the chair to get my eyes checked.
All done. You focus it. Yeah. A little circle. Wow.
And Lang Plummer said I passed with flying colors. For parents, these screenings provide a valuable insight into their child's vision that they may not have had without the program.
Parents are very appreciative of the service that we provide because there's no cost to it. But even the other day, we're out at the Stratum Circle Learning Center, and the first thing that the assistant said there was, you know what, we had a parent last year and they were so happy to have the children's eyes found that they needed to get some glasses, and they've got glasses now. It's wonderful. So that's the satisfaction when you're helping some child to step up and be able to see and learn more efficiently. It's very, very rewarding.
For more information about the program, visit the Exeter Lions Club website or email the club at exeternhlions@gmail.com. And for our last segment, we have an inside look at the recent work being done on the railway, which saw several railroad crossings in town closed, and the project behind it. For the past 2 weeks, crews from the train company CSX have been working on the railroad tracks in Exeter, from the Powder Mill Road crossing all the way to Salem Street. We met up with the unofficial greeter of the Downeaster in Exeter, longtime train enthusiast and advocate Bob Hall, to learn more about the project.
This is called a tie job, and one of the things to keep, like any house or a road, anything, you have to keep investing in it to keep it quality. And the service that we have here is quality service. The tracks are owned today by a company called CSX, and that's a Eastern United States railroad, which runs from Florida to Maine and out as far west as the Mississippi River. They have over 3,000 miles of rail.
Mr. Hall went on to explain that technology has come a long way with how tie jobs work, with the majority of the work now being done by specialized machinery. When we caught up to the crews, the old railway spikes had already been pulled out of the ground with a large magnet. The old ties had been removed, and the new ties had been laid in place waiting to be inserted. A set of 2 rail-mounted pieces of equipment picked up the ties and moved them into place. The next machine sweeps away ballast rocks that may have moved, while a crew picks up the metal tie plates to lay them on the new wooden ties. Another crew uses special machines to lift up the rails to adjust the metal ties into position so they can be later nailed in. The work being done in Exeter is a part of a larger $35 million project covering 124 miles of rail stretching from Haverhill, Mass. To Brunswick, Maine. CSX crews are replacing nearly 130,000 railroad ties on the Downeaster line. While the project has had minor traffic inconveniences at local crossings, the project is crucial to maintaining the railway network, as Bob Rohauer from CSX's Community Affairs Office explains.
We operate in 26 states, all east of the Mississippi River, and we have several of these type what we call work gangs out there during the summer months up here in the Northeast doing this kind of work. And our end goal is, again, to make it a safe railroad, and certainly part of that is being proactive. So we go out and advance. A good example, a good analogy would be paving a road before it's full of potholes, right? We go out and resurface a road so it's smooth again. We're basically doing the same thing with the rail structure, in that we want to be proactive before the ties or the rail fails. We want to put in the new stuff so that we can continue to operate trains safely and efficiently.
With the work being done, train enthusiasts like Bob Hall are excited to think about the possibilities for a well-maintained and updated railway system in the community as an alternative to traveling by car.
Go to Boston for the Bruins game. This time of year, go to the Red Sox game. A lot of people went down this morning, bright and early, 6:30, they were on the train. It's an alternative. It costs $22 each way. It costs $50 to park your car in Boston.
As our interview with Bob Hall wrapped up, CSX crews were doing one final sweep along the tracks to pick up the old railway ties as the project moves north into Newmarket and towards the Maine state line. The multi-state project is slated to wrap up in mid-July. Railway crossings along the route may be temporarily closed as work continues, so the public is advised to follow traffic detours. In Exeter, the crossings at Powder Mill Road, Main Street, and Summer Street are now complete, with crews coming back at a later date to finish work on the Front Street crossing. Downeaster service will remain available during the project, but with a modified schedule and some bus connections. For more information, visit AmtrakDowneaster.com. If you haven't taken a ride on the Downeaster, Bob Hall has a simple message.
If you've never tried it, give it a shot. It's a great way to travel.
That does it for this week's report. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to help us spread the word. And head over to the town website and subscribe to the town's email newsletter to get this show and other local news sent straight to your inbox. We'll be back on May 9th for the next edition of the show. For Exeter TV, I'm Bob Glowacki, and this has been the Exeter Biweekly Report. Have a great weekend, Exeter. And I blow away from the wind.
Okay, welcome back to the April 28th, 2025 Town of Exeter Select Board meeting. The board has been downstairs conducting board interviews for the last half hour, and as the hour is 7 o'clock, we will call the regular business meeting to order. We say good evening to my colleagues on the board, town staff, those in attendance, and certainly those watching at home on TV. I'll start by introducing the board. To my right, Selectman Dan Chartrand, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
And a happy belated birthday to you.
Oh, why, thank you.
Our Vice Chair, Selectwoman Molly Cowan, good evening.
Hi, everyone, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
To my left, our clerk, Selectwoman Nancy Belanger, good evening.
Good evening, everyone, and happy birthday again.
Selectwoman Julie Gilman, good evening.
Good evening, everyone, and Mr. Chartrand.
Thank you all.
Our Town Manager, Mr. Rustine, good evening.
Good evening, and happy birthday, Dan.
Thank you, Russ.
Our Recording Secretary, Joanna Bartel, good evening. And my name is Nico Papakostandis. We're going to start this evening with asking the clerk to read the Municipal Clerks Week proclamation. So with that, Madam Clerk, please.
Okay, so Town of Exeter, New Hampshire, proclamation. Municipal Clerks Week, May 4th through May 10th, 2025. Whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk, initiated in 1969 by IIMC and endorsed by all of its members throughout the United States, Canada, and 15 other countries, will celebrate and reflect on 56 years as a time-honored and vital part of local community government. And whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants. And whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between citizens and local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of the neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the public clerk through participation in educational programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, counties, and international professional organizations, and whereas it's most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of the Municipal Clerk, now therefore our Select Board Chair, Nico Papakonstantis, Town of Exeter, hereby proclaim and affirm May 4th through May 10th, 2025, as Municipal Clerks Week within the Town of Exeter, New Hampshire, and hereby extend gratitude, respect, and support for our Municipal Clerk, Andrea Kohler, and to all of the municipal clerks for the vital services they perform through the exemplary dedication to the communities they represent.
Great, thank you very much. Our next order of business is a bid opening. This is for the Linden Street Bridge, and I believe, Mr. Dean, we have one bid.
We have one bid.
Okay. Mr. Dean, we talked about buying that letter opener.
Yes, we did do that.
Wandering away.
We'll keep searching for it.
Okay. Just put this right here. Thank you. Okay, so Madam Clerk, the bid is from New England Infrastructure, Inc., from Hudson, Mass. And the total amount of the bid is $1,857,470.
Got it. Thank you.
Got that? Okay. And as there are no other bids, I would entertain a motion to refer this bid to the Public Works Department for a recommendation to be made back to the Select Board.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Russ, I'm going to hand this to you so you can. Thank you.
Our next order of business this evening is public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to come forward with any comment for the Select Board. We do ask that if your comment is relative to one of the agenda items, that you wait until that agenda item comes up. With that, I will pause, see if there's any public comment.
Darius Thompson, 50 Victorwood. Dan, happy belated birthday. Andrew, may the 4th be with you.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
I have a comment, but it's about a charitable exemption, and I don't think I have a chance to get heard before
You can come up and make your comment, state your name and address. We cannot deliberate on it right now, but we can certainly listen to what you have to present for us.
Fair enough, thank you.
Thank you.
Put my glasses on for this, so I'm sorry I can't see you guys. My name is Laura Barker. I live on Beach Hill Road in Exeter. I've been a resident since 1999. I've had 4 kids go through the school system, and I've owned 4 businesses in town, and I now run a nonprofit as a volunteer. I'm here to comment on a charitable property tax exemption requested for 51 Paws Way. At specific issue is the recommendation to deny the charitable exemption by the town assessor with a quote that we benefit a very small, very definite group of individuals. And I should mention that Pam from the town manager's office was super helpful today, and she's the one that suggested I follow this course to try to work it out before going other means. So, and I will keep this brief. It looks like a big stack. It's not a,
no, go ahead.
A whole speech. So the backstory, my son was shot in Afghanistan in 2011, and I was with him in the military hospital for about a month. During that time, somebody brought a therapy dog in, and I saw the impact a dog had on these combat wounded veterans and the staff that were caring for him. So having a varied background, it was kind of a natural fit for me. I placed the dog with a veteran and firefighter, and it got a lot of press. So my phone started ringing, and I realized how big the problem actually was. So I founded Hero Pups, and in 2016, we became a nonprofit. We added the first responder component thanks to a ride-along with the Exeter police officer when I was participating in the Citizen Police Academy. We were founded to provide dogs to veterans and first responders at no charge to deal with their mental health challenges from their time in service. Since we are all volunteers, we average about 1,800 volunteer hours every month doing the various types of our program, which I'll get into, both at our new facility and in the community. We have placed 251 support dogs with veterans and first responders, again, free of charge. We also have a facility comfort dog program where we have placed dogs with, I had to write this all down long form, New Hampshire Department of Safety, Division of Emergency Communication Services, Maine Department of Safety, police departments including University of New Hampshire, Concord, Manchester, Portsmouth, Claremont, Salem, Hudson, Derry, Exeter, sheriff's departments, and many more throughout New England. The real question is how we train the dogs and the wraparound support that brings the larger impact to the general community. We know that the community as a whole is invested in these dogs. Our community model of training the dogs includes traumatic events, people that have been the victim of a crime, school tragedies, and sudden response to sudden losses, including individuals and mass casualties. It's not all about the puppies. People impacted by our training and education are Schools, including Main Street School, Lincoln Street School, and the Cooperative Middle School. Next, Charter School. Lister Academy, Seacoast Learning Collaborative, Constellations ABA for autistic children. Police, fire, EMS, hospital workers from all over the state. Critical incident teams, victims of crime, survivors of trauma, inmates, and the families of all the people that I just listed. We have rehabilitative services that we assist with. We go to funerals, memorials, and we are deployed in times of tragedy. We attend numerous community events throughout the year, like parades, national nights out, days of observance, etc. We do visits to community centers, child advocacy centers, New Hampshire Veterans Home, county nursing homes, and many more. And I don't think that this qualifies as a very small, very definitive group of individuals as quoted. We have scheduled community visits each week from schools to businesses to other nonprofits for educational purposes. So why us? Why do we do this? Because we have a social worker, lawyer, police officer on our very accomplished board. We are psychologically first aid trained. We are team members of the critical incident staff. We are disaster animal response team members, disaster behavioral health response team members, certificate holders for FEMA, Incident Control System, candidate members of ADI, sat on panels with NAMI, Easter SEALs, HCA. We have awards from the Child Advocacy Center, 2 United States presidents, citations from several police departments, featured by WMUR, Heroes Among Us. And we got all of those awards because of our community service. Again, we are much more than we service much more than a very small, definitive group of people. We had limited capacity, therefore the number of dogs quoted in the memo from Ms. Witten was pre-building. I believe she got it from our 990. Our 990 came from 2013, which is when we had the building for exactly 1 month. This is why we have a new building, to increase our numbers and increase the positive impact on the community with more resources for education, food crops, animal-assisted therapies. There may have been a lack of communication, but I'll just leave that at that. Placing the dogs is not the only way that we serve our community. Much of the purpose of this property is to expand the services to include things such as gardening education, growing food for local food pantries, and acting as a community resources. I chose not to bring a bunch of people here tonight because, well, number one, we don't want to be here all night. But I am confident that if we go public, you will see the community impact that we have had throughout the state. In the memo from Ms. Witten, it states that we had not previously been granted exception. There wasn't a building prior to that. I looked into the charitable property tax exemption when we started the building process, and there was a form on the town website. By the time we finished completion, it was gone. I got the form from the state that said it must be owned or occupied for charitable purposes. I prepared the form, and I was told clearly by Ms. Witten, don't submit it, the charity has to own it. I stated that's not what the New Hampshire form said and asked where I could find the info that she wanted. And she gave me the town of Northampton's rules. I prepared my packet and I dropped it off, and Ms. Witten again said I should not submit it since the charity didn't own it. A lawyer contacted me, recommended I pursue legal action against the town. I live here. I don't want to be that person. So I just paid the property taxes. Last year, I hired a different lawyer to transfer ownership of the property to the nonprofit in the Registry of Deeds, thereby fixing the ownership Ms. Witten said was the problem. Knowing there was an April deadline, I started communication with Ms. Witten on March 3rd, and I reached out again to Ms. Witten to ask what rules applied this year. And she gave me a piece of paper with the Exeter seal on top, but it referenced Northampton in the body of the letter. So I'm not even sure if that's what I should have been using. I saw this morning that the charitable exemption was recommended to be denied because, and I quote, it benefits a very small, very definite group of individuals, which I believe is totally inaccurate for all of the reasons above. I've made a condensed list of the institutions we have helped and/or been asked to assist with to prove very small, very definite group is not accurate. The Timberland homicide, the New Hampshire hospital homicide, several high school suicides, including one last week. Rockingham County Department of Corrections after multiple suicides, sudden teacher deaths, motor vehicle deaths, district attorney's offices, service member losses, stress relief for the media during the Harmony Montgomery case, first responder critical incident stress management debriefings. We have a lot of acronyms. I didn't use them.
Thank you.
First responder deaths, debriefings for first responder mental health, Children's Hospital at Dartmouth, deathbed visits, memory care units, nursing homes, including Rockingham County Nursing Home, animal-assisted activities, animal-assisted therapies, therapeutic facilities, vaccine clinics, and I think we did 2 for Lincoln Street. We've done educational presentations at Rotary, Chambers of Commerce, American Legions, and nonprofits like the Portsmouth Women's Club, Swim with a Mission, United States Veterans Motorcycle Club, American Legions across New England. And again, I would say this is not what I would call a very small, very definite group of individuals. In closing, I request that the Select Board read the entire request packet and disregard Ms. Witten's recommendation to deny our request. And I'd be happy to provide further information if requested.
Thank you for your comment. I was going to ask you if that letter is to the board, we can submit that into the record if you choose.
I brought 6 copies.
Okay.
There you go. That would be great. Thank you.
Do I give it to you now?
Please, come on up.
You didn't take notes on all of that?
I did, actually.
I did take some, but I was trying to find your application at the same time, so sorry. I was listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Nobody ever wants to know us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to come to the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment and your letter. And again, we'll be taking that up later this evening. We appreciate your time this evening. Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Okay. And I note that there's nobody on Zoom, so with that, we'll move forward. To next order of business is reviewing the regular meeting minutes from our April 14th, 2025 Exeter Select Board meeting. Thank you, Madam Clerk, for suggesting that we revise how we record the minutes with the line items. And Joanna, thank you for doing that.
Yes, I asked
It's very
Joanna if
helpful.
it was too much trouble to do that, because I will tell you, on the planning board, we find it much easier to amend meeting minutes, so thank you, Joanna.
Thank you, Joanna. With that, are there any amendments or revisions from the board?
Mr. Chair, I just noticed that the minutes say March 14th on them.
Indeed, they do.
So we just want to amend that.
Good catch. I didn't catch that.
Missed that one.
Any other amendments or revisions?
No.
Seeing none, I would entertain a motion then to approve the Town of Exeter Select Board regular meeting minutes of April 14th, 2025 as amended.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Mr. Dean, do we typically go over minutes from our goal setting, or is that just posted online?
They will be made available at a later date.
Fantastic.
But we will have those.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We conducted 3 board interviews downstairs at 6:30, and if the board is inclined, we'd like to take those up this evening. So I would entertain a motion to appoint Jonathan Ring to the 250th Celebration Commission for a term to expire 12/31/26.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any
Let you do
discussion?
it.
Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. I would entertain a motion to appoint Olivia Campbell to the Human Services Funding Committee. There's no term.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. And I would entertain a motion to appoint Kent McLeod as an alternate to the Planning Board with a term to expire April 30th, 2028.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. I'd like to thank Jonathan, Olivia, and Sam for volunteering for the respective committees. We'll jump into our discussion items. The first discussion item is the first reading of a revised wording of Ordinance 101.2, which is no parking. It is Town of Exeter Select Board procedure to have 3 readings for a revision to an ordinance. This will be the first reading. The second reading will take place at the Exeter Select Board meeting May 12th, and the final reading, the third reading, will be held on May 19th, at which time the board will deliberate and make a motion to act. So with that, I will read the Exeter Town Ordinance Amendment, Chapter 1, Parking Regulations. And the amendment is to add 101.2 parking prohibited on specific streets, Drinkwater Road, both sides of the street from High Street to the town line, Pickpocket Road, north side of the street for a distance of 450 feet west of Kingston Road, and Swayze Parkway, west side of the street from Newfields Road to the turnaround. And I would note that the no parking is already in play for the Swayze Parkway and Pickpocket Road respectively, and this is a formality and procedural to include them. But the discussion will be for Drinkwater Road. That has not been done yet. So with that, before the board has any comment, I would open it up to the public. If anybody has any comments or questions, please come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Hey, there's 2 chairs. Step on up.
Neighbor. Yes.
Just one at a time, please. Good evening.
Scott Matthews, 19A Drinkwater Road.
Darius Thompson, 15 Drinkwater Road.
I've lived on Drinkwater Road for almost 30 years, been in town much longer than that, and I've never once thought we've got a parking problem on Drinkwater Road. I don't see the problem we're addressing with this. It would also, when I saw it, I thought, well, there's got to be some sort of personal interest going on here because, again, I've lived there for decades and not seen a problem, never been accidents or anything like that. So I'm curious as to what's causing this or what's driving this. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we have people over the house, driveway fills up, they park on the side of the road. If that goes away, that's adversely affecting us. So.
Right.
Right, and I've lived on Drinkwater Road for 24 years and been in town for almost the same amount of time. My question is if this is an ordinance for the whole road, who benefits from this, and who does this impact? And is there a specific section or area of the road where there is an issue? And if that is the area where there's an issue, as you have with the Pickpocket Road, 450 some odd feet from this part, well, if that's the issue that's driving this, then make that one section to be no parking. What I have noticed over the years is that at the entrances where the academy has gates, there has been subtle changes that have occurred where there are rocks and other things to discourage people from parking in that area. And it appears to me from just observationally, there's a third gate where sometimes people park, they pull off on the side of the road, you have to have a pickup or a four-wheel drive because there's no drop-off. And if you look at the white lines and the width of the road, it really is prohibitive to park there anyway. Mm-hmm. But if this is an issue for a certain section of the road, then why not do the same adjustment to the ordinance to say, from this point to this point, there is no parking? Mm-hmm. Because there's no, it's impacting the rest of us that live on the whole road. It just seems kind of heavy-handed.
Sure, understood. And there's a letter in the correspondence in our packet from some of your neighbors who made some of the same points, and we received one earlier today that will be in the next packet. But your question is a good one, and Mr. Dean, I know that you were part of a team that went out to examine Drinkwater Road, and I believe we had members of the police department, we had members of Public Works, yourself and the assistant town manager. I think it's a fair question that you asked is what are we trying to gain? So if you could sum up, why you were out there and, why the recommendation was made, I think that'd be helpful.
Sure. So we visited 44 Drinkwater Road, Mr. Locke's residence, and had a conversation with him about the parking issues that he's been experiencing. And from that, the Department of Public Works and the Police Department and myself and the Assistant Town Manager got together and made a recommendation to post no parking up and down the street, just because the concern was if we limited it to just around 44 Drinkwater, that we would push the problem elsewhere. And so that was the impetus for recommending to post the full width, full length of the road.
Okay. Was there any consideration given to where the parking occurs is at the academy gates, right? So they're trying to access the trails, park and walk their dogs, and create an unsafe situation when they're trying to turn around. I notice there's a thing in the driveway that says, no turn, please don't turn on my driveway. Okay, great. People need to be respectful of other people's property, which typically they're not. But why not make the no parking from where that starts, where the academy, maybe 200 feet before the gates start and 200 feet past all the gates, to make that section of the road versus impacting the rest of us where there's not a problem. And to that point, of course, the road needs to be paved again. That's another issue. But when you look at the road physically, there's the white line, and then the pavement stops, and then there's really just a drop-off.
Right.
There's really no safe way to park anyway. But if this is the issue between that section, consider, please, make it no parking from here to well beyond the third gate. That way there's, it will discourage people from using the trails. That's going to be impact to that. They'll have to go and park somewhere else. It would be, I don't think the academy would create an open parking space because that creates more problems because people trash and other stuff that happens. But there has to be some adjusted ordinance to fulfill the issue, but not impact the whole road. It has to be a compromise.
Was Mr. Locke's concern the entire road or just across from his house?
It primarily is across from his house. But again, if the whole road isn't posted, the thought process is that we may be pushing the vehicles closer to Mr. Thompson's residence, as an example.
Yeah.
And that is a concern because the shoulders are not wide on both sides of that road.
Mm-hmm. Is Mr. Locke the only one that flagged this for the town's attention?
He has been very active on it, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
Yeah.
And I appreciate his concerns, and maybe there's other things that can be done to mitigate the parking in front of where his mailbox is. Where I know there's boulders and other things have been placed there to discourage people from parking. Oh, yeah, that can become a potential, not a safety issue, but there could be other things to be done to mitigate, to eliminate people from parking there. Instead of just taking the whole road and saying, yeah, we're just gonna make no parking there altogether. And then if you have that, then you're gonna have to, what are the exemptions? For utility work, what are the exemptions for construction work? When they put in the other projects that's going down by the third gate for the groundwater well,
right,
they're gonna have to park somewhere and stage and do things along the way. If you have an ordinance that's no parking, well, then you're in violation of that ordinance, but you're making an exception. So if you're gonna have a no parking area, make it from point A to point B. And that will discourage people from, and there's no parking. You can make it from, maybe from Mr. Sanborn's property where it ends, where the property ends and the academy has that land on that side, to all the way down to where the third gate. There's no residential houses there on that side of the road. But you do have houses on the other side of the road, and, again, speed, people come down the road anyway. It would be great to have a sidewalk that goes all the way down to Prentice Way, but again, there are other things that can be done to help mitigate it, come up with a solution that doesn't impact the whole road. That's all.
I would just add too, if someone wants to park in front of my house, I'm fine with it, it's a public road, so if it does push it, it wouldn't push it to us, we're pretty far away,
Right.
but if they did, so be it. It's part of living in town.
Yeah, and I think part of the issue Mr. Locke identified was that people were parking on the road in the travel lane. And because there isn't enough room to actually park off the road, and that creates issues of people having to maneuver around a vehicle, and it's basically a case of being illegally parked anyway, because the parking is not supposed to be allowed in the travel lane, but that does happen. So part of the complexity of this was trying to figure that out and make a good recommendation based upon that particular problem happening the length of the road.
So, question, in your observation, are there not signs there that say no parking on pavement?
There are, but people do not comply with it.
So how is a no parking sign, if let's take an example, you put up a temporary no parking ordinance and see how it goes. To see that there's no parking from here to there, or can you do something temporarily, or try it to see if it works and if it mitigates that. And if it needs to be the whole road, then okay, well, it may need to be the whole road. But my point is, try that section to make that section no parking and see if that mitigates the problem.
So when you say that section, you're talking about from the first gate on the right all the way to the town line?
And possibly
that side of the road.
On that side of the road, because there's no housing there.
Yep, it's all Academy land.
It's all Academy land.
And that's the point of a lot of the parking, is to park and walk the trails.
Right, and there's and so there's no.
That seems like a good solution to me.
Yeah.
Can I just, the problem itself, the volume of it, I work from home, so and I can see this area morning, noon, and night. I'll be out. I rarely see cars parked there. It's not like there's always 5 cars. There's almost never a car there. So I'm wondering what the volume is.
Sorry to interrupt. Did we get any feedback from the Academy on this?
We did, and they did not have an issue with posting it no parking.
So they wouldn't have an issue with no parking along that road?
No.
Their signage discourages it. It doesn't ban it because that's not their responsibility, it's ours.
Right.
So if we did make it no parking from going out towards Kensington, first gate, second gate, third gate, all the way to the town line, that might be a good place to start. I know it's not what Mr. Locke wants.
Well, what I was going to suggest, because we've got 3 readings.
Right.
Right? And when we have ordinances like this, that's one of the reasons we have 3 readings, is we take it back to our experts with the feedback that we get from the public and from the board. So, before the rest of the board opines, I would like us to go back to Public Works and the police and see if we can sort of fine-tune this for the second reading. And if not, can we at least have something as to why?
Yes.
So that the public can completely understand, as well as the board.
Yes.
I just want to, I agree with you. I take that road frequently. I do not speed.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's, my way of avoiding downtown during crazy times. But it's not just dogs, people with dogs. There are families that park, and I very rarely see a problem with them being on the road. I don't see it, and I probably traveled that road several times a week. I will wait until I have make a decision, but I do want to stress that families use it, people use it. To me, it's not much different than navigating around bicycles that are going down the road, and I'm really having trouble eliminating yet another area for people to be able to access. Walking through the woods, the only other option they're going to have is to park behind the ice rink at the Academy and then walk down the gravels and out by the, or Gardner Street. There are a few other ways, right? And I get that. I grew up here. But people have been able to access that as long as I've been alive or remember. So I'm just saying I'm a little apprehensive about the no parking, but I also think there's some plans for that road. So but I just want to throw those out there, what my experience has been. So thank you for coming.
Thank you. One other thing, just as an inquiry, is there's a gate that's not really a gate, it's just a metal gate that's further down after the first gate. There's a metal gate that's there. There's a field that they use construction, staging, or whatever. if that were to be made into a couple spaces where people could actually park there off the road, that might be an alternative, but then that requires the academy to become involved and to give up some space or to utilize that, and or have to maintain that, so it's an additional cost. So again, and then if you have no parking on one side of the street from that section down, then that means people will try to park on the other side of the street, but then they have to cross the street to get over. But yet there's really no space along the road to actually park unless you have a lawn or a house that's there. Someone could, be off the road just enough.
People are very good at maneuvering, especially there's some ditches there. You have to go slow so you can see these things. So are the no parking signs going to be on both sides of the road? Is that the proposal?
The proposal is for both sides.
Okay, thank you.
Who are you working with at the academy, the facilities?
Mark Layton.
Yeah.
Yes, facilities.
And there was no discussion of what Darius suggested?
No, we didn't go that far into trying to make an arrangement like that.
Okay, so we've got 2 weeks, so we can talk with Mr. Layton.
Yes.
Public Works, Police, and the second reading will be on May 12th.
Super.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And we'll have
no, appreciate the
Mr. Cronin,
feedback.
too.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question. Just
Yes, of
wondering,
course.
since we've already had this first hearing.
It's not over yet.
No, it doesn't really go with what we're talking. Well, anyway, let me just say it. With the renaming of streets, et cetera, a lot of these descriptions are no longer accurate. So I'm wondering if we ought to, not this next meeting, but
At
in a month
future
or
meeting.
so, just clean this up and do it all at once.
Sure.
Yep. Thank you for picking that up. Anybody else?
Street.
Like
Okay.
Magnolia Drive instead of.
We will revisit this on May 12th for the second reading. Mr. Dean, since Mr. Cronin's going to stay here, we'll stay in order, and if you would like to present, your memo was pretty straightforward on the renewal of the lease with the Exeter Historical Society, but if you could highlight the changes in your memo and just speak to this very quickly.
Sure. This is a lease renewal with the Historical Society for the 47 Front Street building, and there have been a few editorial changes to the lease, but nothing of great substance. First is the word lease has been inserted into the first paragraph. The map and lot have been corrected to read map 72, lot 197. Under section 2C, the word town has been capitalized. Under 3A, the word agreement has replaced lease. And under 3B, the 2015 amendment has been inserted into the lease agreement, and all other terms and conditions, including the rent due, remain the same. And it's a 3-page lease.
Before we speak, have the public speak, any questions or comments from the board for Mr. Dean?
Yeah, I have one, and maybe I'm just not reading it in depth, but why are we referring to it as a lease and then further on it's just an agreement? Because it's a lease agreement?
Because it's a lease agreement, yes.
So are they interchangeable words?
They are.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't see that spelled out, though.
No, it actually is under the first paragraph where it says lease agreement. It says this lease agreement.
And then that means agreement from there on in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yep.
Well,
Thanks.
No, I just
making sure
saw
the
my
public does, sorry.
question answered. So never mind.
I have a comment if you'd like it.
I think, Selectwoman Belanger, did you have your...
I have a few questions,
Go
so
ahead.
if you want to let Dan start, that's fine.
I'm very much in favor of this lease. I think the importance of this building, both as our former library as well as the entryway being our Civil War memorial, I couldn't think of a better tenant than the Exeter Historical Society for this building, and I love that they're there, so I'm all for this. That's my comment.
Selectwoman Belanger.
Yes, I share Mr. Chartrand's sentiments. It had expired, so we need to re-up it. That's, I think, why we're here on this. So I'm just going to make a few suggestions. On page 1, where it says to have and to hold, if you go down, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, we need Joanna's numbers. It starts with, it is further understood and agreed that the lessor and, I think it should say and/or leasee shall decide 1 year. That's one suggestion. The other okay.
Go on.
The other suggestion, I wasn't sure how maintenance requests are handled, so, and there's no language about that. Should there be something in there, or do we have a policy for how maintenance needs are handled?
So maintenance requests are made of the Department of Public Works?
Okay, so they just go right to the Department of Public, yeah, there's no mention, so
Right.
I wasn't sure. Should that be in there, that any maintenance request should be directed to the Department of Public Works?
Oh, we could add that.
I just think Lisa should really have very specific. And then, where else? So in page 2C, it says, no interior or exterior alterations to the building will be made, kind of should say shall, but will be made without expressed approval of the town of Exeter through the select board and/or their authorized designee. I think the word, there should be with prior notice, that no alteration should be made without prior notice and, again, suggestions here. And then further down, in number 3B, the amount of the insurance coverage is not listed. Should we have something that says what that amount, the minimum amount should be? I know we have coverage, and thank you very much for providing that. And the Historical Society provided their current lease, but we're not very specific on the amount of what coverage they're supposed to carry, a minimum amount.
Well,
Again,
they're just covering their own
yeah,
property,
right.
so the amount should cover what they.
So I'm trying to understand.
Mr. Ring, do you have that amount?
I do.
Handy?
I would guess it's $1 million, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
I have it. Hold on.
Do you have the
It's in our packet.
certificate?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm Jonathan Ring, the vice chairperson of the Exeter Historical Society Board of Directors. So
Yes.
thank you very much for
Welcome.
considering this item on the agenda, and we'll modify it subject to whatever
Yeah,
you
I'm just
decide.
throwing some thoughts out, just going through it, but yeah, it's in our
It's $1 million,
packet.
$2 million.
Yeah, I'm just, again, I am just making some suggestions of things that I noticed weren't there.
My point is that as the lessor, we don't have exposure for the contents of the building.
Okay,
The
thanks.
society does.
Mr. Dean, is the the document that's in our packet is typically attached to the lease, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that all of the insurance coverages
Is
are
included.
included with that as an appendix to the agreement?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, great, thank
that-
you.
is that
Yeah, that's fine. I just, like I said, I go through these things. So, I will not get discouraged. Okay, actually, I think that was it for me. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Comments, revisions? Mr. Ring, did you want to speak, or you're
The
good?
only thing I would say is we're happy to endorse the document whenever it's ready in its final form, and I'm here to sign tonight, but I think it needs to be modified again.
Yeah.
So if I need to come back to an official selectman meeting, unless the select board agrees that it can be signed out of session, that's up to you.
That's
I can come into
usually-
Russ's office whenever it's ready.
I would ask the board, I would feel comfortable with entertaining a motion this evening to approve the document as revised and amended.
Yeah, because there are only two.
And if the board is comfortable with that, then we can move forward. And then at your convenience, Mr. Ring, you could come into Mr. Dean's office to sign the document. Is the board comfortable with that?
I would make that motion, the two revisions.
Joanna, did you get the two revisions? And just as importantly, Mr. Dean, did you get the two revisions?
Yes.
Okay,
And is the board comfortable?
I have.
You're comfortable?
I am, and I will I just have one more thing to say, but I'll wait until we take the vote now. I will second that vote, that motion.
Would it be okay if we entertain a more global motion on the agreement?
Sure, whatever you want to put out there, I'll move.
Everything?
You want me to pull that back?
If that was a formal motion?
I was following up on your request for someone to make that motion. You weren't done, though.
No.
I apologize.
Then
I
I'm
withdraw my
going to
motion.
withdraw my second.
I thought you were
You've got the
set.
2 revisions,
Yes.
Mr. Dean? Okay.
Yes.
I would entertain a motion to approve the proposed lease as amended between the Town of Exeter and the Exeter Historical Society for map 72, lot 197, for the term of May 1st, 2025 through May 1st, 2030, and authorize the board chair to, the town manager to sign the lease on the town's behalf.
So moved.
Second.
So motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Rick.
Thank you for being such wonderful tenants in
You're
that
welcome.
building.
Thank you so much. It's our privilege. It's a wonderful building. And
And you take
yeah, we really
I
appreciate it.
volunteered a few times, and
Thank you.
I think you guys do a wonderful job, and you do really great with keeping things up, and thank you.
Thank you. And happy birthday.
It's the theme. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Mr. Ring.
Thank you, John.
Mr. Cronin, our last discussion item this evening is a contract regarding the Water Street project.
Yes. Actually, before we jump into this, can I just grab the bid package from Linden Street and give it to Alex from Wright Pierce here? So that we
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Hang on,
thought
ready
you
to
were,
sign
I was
evaluate
wondering
it.
why you were still here. I'm so sorry. That's why I gave it to Russ.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thought you were just enjoying our meeting.
Thank you very much. So before you tonight is a request to approve a contract with Weston and Sampson in the amount of $100,000 for professional engineering services for stormwater planning for the Water Street Improvement Project. The Water Street project has been in DPW's CIP for several years now. This is the initial phase of the project that includes assessment of the stormwater and drainage systems, stormwater modeling, so that we can lay out the stormwater collection system and coordinate with some of the other utilities out there. I'm sure you're aware, this stretch of road from Norrisbrook to Main Street has some significant stormwater challenges. We have quite a bit of runoff out there as well as seasonal breakout. So we're really looking for some opportunities to address those as well as look for locations for stormwater BMPs and stormwater infrastructure. Weston and Sampson has done a number of projects for the town in the past. They were pre-qualified as part of the Salem Street project, and they assisted us with formulating both the CIP request and the SRF application that we ultimately were awarded. That loan is for $100,000 with 100% principal forgiveness, so it'll cover the entirety of this work. And we are anxious to move forward with Weston and Sampson to get started on this project. Additional phases of design will be in the CIP for next year, and then there'll be a subsequent construction request several years down the road here. So.
Exciting. Thank you.
It is, yes.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Cronin?
I have none. Pretty straightforward. Checking off your
So
like
when it says Water Street, you're just talking about the Water Street extension from Main Street to Norrisbrook?
Correct, yes.
So the part of the road that runs along Swayze Park?
That is correct, yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
One question.
Please, Ms. Gilman.
Is the $100,000 SRF loan already in hand or been approved?
Yes, it has been approved, yep. So it did go to town meeting, it was approved there. We have a loan agreement with DES in hand. That has already been before you and approved. This is just a contract that has gone through the appropriate channels. It needs your approval so that we can get started on the work.
Terrific.
Let's do it.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve a contract with Weston and Sampson in the amount of $100,000 for professional engineering services for stormwater planning for the Water Street Improvements Project, and to further authorize the town manager or their designee to sign the contract documents.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Cronin.
Thank you.
Before we jump into regular business, we have quite a few permits and approvals this evening. We have members of staff, we have members of the public here. I would ask the board's indulgence to jump right in, let these folks go home, and then we can get into our credits and exemptions. Is the board okay with that?
I think that's a wonderful
Okay,
idea.
thank you. So with that, I would ask our Water and Sewer Chair, Mr. Kelly, and perhaps Public Works Director Cronin to come on up for the first approval to be considered this evening. Good evening, Mr. Kelly. Nice to see you.
Yes, please.
Before you start, I just want to compliment you on the minutes that you included of your meeting. Very informative. Thank you.
Many hats, right, Nance?
Right.
Chair and secretary.
And you were so specific. You were really good. They were not general. They were, it was like I was there, Bob.
That's why you're our essential citizen.
So we, the Water and Sewer Committee was made aware of an issue that had been brewing since last year, about a year ago. Over in Crawford Ave, they experienced several incidents of dirty water over the course of several months. And it was sort of a conundrum. We troubleshot it, but Public Works was all over it. Tried to figure out where it might be coming from, thought they had it fixed multiple times. The upshot of it was there was a faulty valve in the groundwater plant on Larry Lane. And because it was electronic, it was reading to the computer that it was closed during backwash operations, where in fact it was open because the shaft from the reader to the flapper was actually corroded. So when we were backwashing our filters, what should have gone into a waste product actually went out into the system for a brief period of time. Very unfortunate, and it took a while to figure that out. The problem is that Crawford Ave is the next street over from Larry Lane, and so they experienced the brunt of it. And effectively, it was just dirty water. There was no contamination, no chemical issues or anything. It was just dirty water. They endured it for a number of months, and we finally fixed it in October, and we haven't had any problems since. This was last year, of course. A gentleman, Mr. Jim Ouellette, who's a resident on Crawford Ave, was sort of spokesman for the residents, and he felt that there was a need to get some remuneration for the hardship that they went through, and it was indeed a hardship. You can imagine, cooking and doing laundry and everything, anything that you would want to do with your public water system, and never quite know what you're getting when you turn on the tap. So he had proposed a 3-month abatement of all fees and charges, effectively during the summer when things were the worst and when you intend to be taking more showers and doing more laundry, et cetera, et cetera. And they basically had to put their lives on hold for that period of time. They came to the Water and Sewer Committee and discussed this option. We reviewed it as a committee and felt very strongly that they were absolutely correct. They did deserve some remuneration. So at the time, he had only been able to contact 11 residents. And the total for the period of time was about $5,300. The committee felt that everyone in the neighborhood should be really made an attempt to be contacted. And so over the last month or so, Desiree has done that, and the final number is a little bit north of $12,000. That would be every resident on Crawford Ave that was affected by this event, and they've accepted that as a negotiated settlement for And so we had, as a committee, had voted 5-0 to approve a general abatement without knowing what the final number was, and Steve has alerted me this evening that it's around $12,177, something like that.
Do you have the exact number, Steve?
It's $12,161.77.
77 cents?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, so we have, we support that as an abatement. Again, the committee voted 5-0 to approve it without knowing what the final number was. But again, this is an issue that we are not proud of, but we did fix it, and we have agreed with Crawford Ave. This is a one-off situation. They will not be coming back for any other things that may have happened later in the year or this year or whatever. And this is not an indication of anything having to do with our water system, which is top-notch.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just comment, I sat in on that
Please.
meeting. Mr. Willett was did one of the best jobs of being sort of a user of the system who had something to rectify without being strident or complaining, or he was a model citizen in this. Yeah, it was very impressive.
Very respectful of the process.
Yeah, it was remarkable.
Sort of a shame that it hadn't been taken care of earlier, but, he was not holding any grudges about that.
Exactly.
So, a solution has presented itself, and I think they would like to move on, as would we.
I think to your point, too, because Mr. Willett was dealing with the town for many months. I know he and the neighbors were extremely patient working with Mr. Dean, and I think, Ms. Roy, when you were out, I sat in on a meeting with Mr. Kelly and Mr. Cronin. I think the town, obviously took its time to figure out the best way to resolve this issue. Could have been done a little quicker, but it's being done, in my opinion, I think, the right way for the entire town, for the entire street, neighborhood, not just the folks that initially complained. And I want to thank the neighbors, the street, for being so patient and allowing the town to make sure that we could do what was right for everybody, not just those that were coming in. So he did endure many months, and it's a process, and we're appreciative of that. So,
excuse me. One of the reasons why it took so long is this was really a needle in a haystack of needles, and our Public Works Department did find it. But then the follow-up to that is our policy is that the problem rests with the town system for an abatement to be considered. And so we needed to go through that several months of that analysis to just sort of see, all right, there was this valve situation, but were there other issues at play? So there was a lot of analysis that went into it to make sure that this, because it's obviously a sizable amount of money, having done this for a few years, it would be the largest abatement that we've ever given. So we didn't take that process lightly. So that's one of the reasons why.
Indeed, and I'm comfortable that this is a reasonable resolution for both the town and for the neighborhood.
To Bob's point, it was a very challenging issue to find. We're confident that we've found it and fixed it at this point. Through that process, I think we've learned some things that we can do from a not just an operational standpoint, but also a monitoring and equipment standpoint that would allow us to catch this earlier. Because of the way the plant is operated, the filters are cycled, so it was intermittent release of water. We would get a call, we'd go out, we'd do targeting flushing, it would disappear for a week, 2 weeks at a time, would pop up again. So it was a little bit of chasing our tail to find it, but we ultimately did. As Bob mentioned, it's a unique situation where the actuator was behaving correctly, but the feedback we were getting was not actually representing the condition in the filter. So, we've talked with our control folks about ways to maybe put some programming in place that could help us determine that and catch it a little bit sooner. We've also decided to add individual filter turbidimeters to the Drinkwater Road well project so that we can monitor each filter effluent individually after a backwash, which would allow us to catch it instantaneously rather than when the filter goes back online. So, a few things that I think we can do there from, an operations standpoint that'll make sure that this doesn't happen again.
And I appreciate you being thorough.
I do as well. Thank you. And thank you for the people who live at Crawford Ave for their patience and their understanding. And another example that things don't always happen quickly, but we get there, and I support your recommendation here.
Mr. Kelly, do you need a motion from the board?
Well, I guess as your advisory committee, we've approved the concept of the abatement, and I guess as the chair, I would recommend that with the updated amount of $12,161.77.
$12,161.77.
Yep. That on behalf of the committee and their, I think, two of the members would corroborate that we would agree with that recommendation. Would suggest that you approve it.
If you could put in the motion that this is a very specific circumstance, that
I was going to suggest where one of you are the two water and sewer committee reps that, do you need the amount? 12,161.77.
161?
77, yeah.
No, you're gonna test my abilities here.
And I think we did make it very clear to the recipients that this was
A very unique circumstance.
and this was the end.
Yeah. I specifically don't want folks seeking abatements to reference this incident in their.
Correct.
Because this has nothing to do with what we're usually taking up with abatements. So let me try this. I would make a motion that this select board approve, is it abatements? Abatements totaling $12,161.77 for the residents of Crawford Ave that were adversely affected by an equipment failure in our Larry Lane facility. In addition, as part of the motion, this was a very unique circumstance, and it is not in any way related to the normal issues that are taken up when the Water and Sewer Advisory Committee takes up abatements. Is that okay?
Fine with me.
Fine with me. Is there a second?
Okay.
Okay, so motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion's unanimous. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Did I go too fast, Joanna? Not for you.
Next up, Mr. Stevens, our finance director, with a lease purchase financing for 2025.
Oh, I jumped right over that.
Thank you, Mr. Cronin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Good evening, everyone.
Thanks, Bob.
My motion ought to be a breeze after that one.
There's a reason I don't do this.
So I have a memo in your packet this evening. As you'll recall, during the March vote, voters approved the purchase of 3 pieces of equipment using lease purchasing as the financing mechanism. That was a sidewalk tractor, a dump truck, and an ADA van. Those were Articles 18, 19, and 20 in March. The town solicited finance packages from 3 different sources. TD Bank proved to be the most competitive, with a 5-year repayment term of 4.1%. The other 2 were closer to 5% or north of 5%. So I'm looking for approval from you all this evening for a motion to move forward with TD Bank as the financing source and to allow the town manager, Oh, I'm sorry, there's a lease resolution attached to my memo authorizing town manager to execute all the documents related to the closing of the financing.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Stevens? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the financing proposal with TD Bank of an interest rate of 4.10% for a 5-year repayment term for the purchases of a sidewalk tractor, dump truck, and ADA van as approved at the March 2025 elections, and further authorize the Select Board Chair to sign the lease resolution authorizing the town manager or their designee to execute all documents regarding the closing on this financing.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Stevens.
So much.
Next, we have a donation request for acceptance of a public art sculpture from the Arts and Culture Advisory Commission. Good evening.
You want to
You
introduce
first.
Greg Beeson, Exeter Parks and Recreation.
Hi, Florence Ruffner, and happy belated birthday, Dan.
Thank you, Florence.
Young man.
I'm going
on
to
the
pay
Arts
for that,
and
aren't I?
Culture
It's all good.
Committee.
Yep.
And thank you all so much for your consideration of this donation of this sculpture. I'm trying to read this, I'm not. The Arts and Culture Commission has been working in collaboration with Parks and Rec to fund and/or fund a sculpture for this specific area in Townhouse Common for 3 years now. We've reached out to several local artists to get quotes and estimates for what a piece would cost. It just so happened that an Exeter resident, your neighbor, the Tellinis, agreed when they were moving to donate the sculpture that was in their yard. And in conjunction with Team and Parks and Rec and other community volunteers, they coordinated to move it, and it's just sitting at the Dudley House right now. So we are hoping that you will approve it for the Townhouse Common. And I think you have pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
And that's it. It would be near the gazebo that actually I happened to donate with Team a couple years ago. So I hope you will let us do this.
I don't know if you had any thoughts.
I
Selectman
don't
Volunteers,
know.
The Arts and Culture.
No, just that the Arts and Culture Committee recommended we accept it.
Okay. So you're right, Mrs. Ruffner. I saw this sculpture many times a day, every day, as it sat at the end of my street. And the Tellinis continue to be Exeter residents, though they have moved from the end of our street. And I'm only bringing that up because the pictures here do not do this sculpture justice. It's gorgeous. And I think it's, I know there were a lot of people that were inquiring, someday when you move, what are you doing with that? Lots of folks wanted this on their yards. So I am very, very pleased that they have donated it through you to the town. And it's gorgeous.
And I would like to mention the Fosters that purchased the home were kind enough to let us leave it there because it was frozen in the ground.
Thank you.
And then Keith Whitehouse was nice enough to help Scott and other people move it.
So our neighborhood's loss will be the town's gain because it really is gorgeous, and I think that's a perfect place to put it. And we thank Roy and Uta Tellini for donating that. Any questions? And I would entertain a motion to accept the metal sculpture on behalf of Ruffner Real Estate and Team for the Townhouse Common.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Easy. Thank you.
Nothing to be worried about.
Huh?
Nothing to be worried about.
Yeah, I have it on the
Thanks,
top.
Lauren.
Are you talking about the
Thank
pause
you.
one?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bisson, I think you've got the floor for the rest of the
Yes,
approvals.
Mr. Chair, I don't have an agenda right in front of me. If
The
you-
mats are next?
Maps,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to confirm.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair and Board, you'll see in a packet, we're coming in to you today as a Exeter Parks and Rec to ask for approval to use the fundraising money that we have accumulated, which is $13,110, as well as park improvement funds, with the caveat that the installer of the playground who has experience in installing these mats allow us to solicit volunteers and bring them in. The timing could be perfect, where if we line up with the donation that you'll see further in your packet with the United Way Day of Caring, we'd utilize that, and we would not expend the full amount of money. That's the wild card. Unfortunately, we cannot predict when the mats will be ready to be installed, because it all depends on the installation of the playground, which started today, by the way, with some digging and some holes. So we're asked this to have permission and work with the contractor and put out a plea for volunteers to come help us on short notice when we need it. There's 533 mats that are 16 square feet that need to be moved, laid down, zip tied. So we're asking for permission to tap into some of this resources and complete the project in a fashionable manner.
I think that's great if you can involve volunteers to help out in any way with Planet Playground. Mr. Dean, I would ask, have we run this through Primex?
We have not as of yet, I don't believe, unless,
No.
unless Greg has.
I have not, but
That would be my only caveat, is I just want to put our insurer on notice that
Yeah.
we'll be having volunteers.
Yeah. Pretty standard, yeah.
Yep, we can do that. All of our volunteer work, it would simply just carrying, the mats are about 28 pounds, so we're talking.
Anything can happen, I just want to make sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you got the point.
And I
Yeah.
know in past, Mr. Chair,
So
talking with
noted.
Primex, as long as it is rostered, volunteers are covered under the town policies.
Yep. Always good to double check. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
I have none.
I would entertain a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to utilize and not to exceed the Planet Playground enhancement funds of $13,110 and park improvement funds of $4,890 to install the ADA mats at Planet Playground, and to approve any volunteer organization to assist in the installation of the mats to offset the cost once Primex has okayed volunteers working on this project.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The next is,
Our
do
next
you have it in front of you?
Lane Plumber. Yep, I pulled it up.
Great.
Oh, wait a minute.
We'd like to request official acceptance of the donation. Lane Plumber, a longtime member of the planning board, has generously donated $510 to go towards said Planet Playground enhancements.
Okay. Any questions?
I have one, and I'm glad Corey is still here. So this is specifically, just correct me if I'm wrong, this is specifically for ADA enhancements for Planet Playground.
That's correct.
Okay. Should there be a separate account that's named Trust ADA and for Planet Playground, or does it just go into that one account for Planet Playground for enhancements? Excuse me.
Mr. Plummer's desire that it only be used for ADA?
That's what the memo
That's
states.
what the memo says.
It's not what the acceptance form says.
Okay. So that's why I'm asking.
I mean,
Well, he specifically said playground enhancements, so.
So, yeah, that's what, I'm just trying to
Yep.
clarify, because the memo says ADA specifically, but the form doesn't, so if it's something specific, whether it's this or something in the future, it should have its own trust, is that right? Okay.
Who filled out the donation request form?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have anything from him? What did you receive from him?
A check.
And no, so there was nothing there that said it was specifically for ADA?
Correct.
You just put that in the memo?
I put it in there as listed, like, we're honoring all these donors. So that's the ADA accessible Alta Glide and Memorial Brick as an example of what they will be getting. So they'll be getting signage and a brick.
Right, but I want to make sure I'm clear about the donation. And Corey? The
Come on.
intent of the donation.
Right, because if he had a specific
Yeah,
purpose
that's
for
what I'm
$500,
trying
right.
to understand, get
Agreed.
clarification on.
what I would say is if the donor didn't have a specific purpose beyond Planet Playground enhancements,
Mm-hmm.
then we should leave it like that for simplicity of administration with the trustees. But if Lang wanted it to be ADA, then we would have to honor that. But
Right.
if it wasn't, we should leave it at the umbrella level of,
Absolutely, and that's why I'm glad you're here. So I need clarification still.
Okay.
Did Lang, in your conversation with him, or that was just what you added to your memo?
Added to my memo, yes.
Okay, so,
Because he came in generously and gave me a check.
no, that's great. I just want to make sure we're applying it.
So you added the specificity
Yep.
and not at Lang's request.
Not like request.
Does that answer the question?
It does.
Yeah,
I just don't
thank
know
you.
why you did that, but, okay. So last time, Mr. Plummer's donating $510 for enhancements, not specific to ADA.
Yes,
Okay.
I think the way the motion reads,
No, I got that. I just, but.
But I had to
it's
go
in
by the memo.
It's in the memo. and
Yeah.
It's part of it conflicting.
thanks.
Okay. Everyone satisfied?
I am now.
I would
Thank you.
entertain a motion that the Select Board accept the $510 donation received from Lang Plummer for Planet Playground renovations and enhancements, and direct that the funds be held by the trustees of the trust funds in a new trust account called the Planet Playground Renovation Fund. Disbursement of the funds shall be made by authorization of the town manager or their designee related to the purpose of renovating and enhancing Planet Playground.
So moved, and with thanks to Mr. Plummer.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Plummer.
Same with the Gullich and Almond family. They have generously donated $600. And
And-
the same, they
and-
filled out this one specifically, says Planet Playground enhancement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just not,
Yep.
it's not ADA enhancement, so I have no more questions on that then. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion that the Select Board accept the $600 donation received from the Gullich Almond family for Planet Playground renovations and enhancements, and direct that the funds be held by the trustees of trust funds in a new trust account called the Planet Playground Renovation Fund. Disbursement of the funds shall be made by authorization of the town manager or their designee related to the purpose of renovating and enhancing Planet Playground.
So moved with thanks.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
Third one is Will Curtis and Curtis Tree has offered to generously donate his services to trim up some of the branch work and tree work around Planet Playground, just to get the branches out from underneath it.
Any questions?
I have none.
I'd entertain a motion that the Select Board accept the services provided by Will Curtis and Curtis Tree to perform tree trimming work for the Planet Playground renovation project.
Do we have to have the amount, the 1,800 in there? Or no?
That was quoted from him
It's on the
for his, that's a half day of his services.
Nope, oh, that's fine. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion's unanimous. Thank you.
As previously mentioned, we have planned on May 16th, the United Way Day of Caring. They'll undertake helping park cleanup, as well as staining our dugouts, cleaning the tennis courts, general park maintenance, and I will look for guidance from Primex. Volunteer opportunities around Planet Playground. Mat assistance, planting flower beds, staining fence around the transformer, which will be going in, as well as assembling benches. That's another thing. So we have about 35 to 40 volunteers that come out, and all we have to do is feed them.
Yeah, they do amazing work.
Yep.
I do. Any questions?
No.
Seeing none, I would entertain a motion that the Select Board accept the services provided by the United Way Day of Caring, including assistance with the park cleanup and the Planet Playground renovation volunteer opportunities, and ask that the town manager or Park and Rec director follow up with Primex to ensure coverage of the volunteers.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
And last one, this was the exciting one. We knew this day was coming. Below, you'll see, in your packet, you'll see a letter acknowledging a donation from the residents of Riverwoods. Their Charitable Funds Committee has selected us to be a recipient of a grant or a donation of $15,000 to go solely towards senior programming. So David Tovey and I presented to their charitable funds committee a few months ago, recognizing the hospital grant would soon expire. The charitable funds committee has kindly supported our initiative to continue essential services for our seniors. This donation will enable us to maintain our current level of programming that we've achieved since getting the grant from the hospital, and provide our new senior coordinator with the budget to facilitate as we transition into 10 Hampton Road.
Wonderful.
Yep. I know this one's going into its own little separate trust account.
Mhm. Any questions or comments?
I'm going to be recusing.
Of course. Thank you. I would entertain a motion that the Select Board accept the $15,000 donation received from Riverwoods Residents Charitable Fund Committee for Senior Programming, and direct that the funds be held by the trustees of trust funds in a new trust account called Senior Programming. Disbursement of the funds to be made by authorization of the town manager or their designee for senior programming expenses coordinated through the Exeter Parks and Recreation Department.
So moved with thanks.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Mr. Chartrand recusing himself from that vote. Thank you very much, Mr. Bisson.
I think we,
Madam Clerk,
that's me. I have to keep reminding myself I'm the clerk, sorry.
as we get into our very, very long list, and I note that Ms. Barker is still here. May we take her
I pulled
exemption
it.
up first?
I have it out.
Thank you.
Could I make a comment before
please.
we do that? I would like more information before I vote on this.
I do too.
I agree. I think, for example, one of the, what's the word I want? One of the pieces of paper that was in our packet cited an RSA that, to what I can tell, is non-existent.
Oh, not
It's
existent.
non-existent.
Okay.
And the Secretary of State references a different RSA than is referenced here, and it sounds like our town attorney wasn't given enough information in her message, that it just sounds like
Yes.
she didn't see all of the things that you have.
Specifically, I
just
had
wanted
a, oh, I'm sorry. Specifically, I had a concern that we were going off a 990 that was 12 years old. And you have more recent 990s, I assume.
I will have one within the next
Come on.
2 weeks.
Thank
Yep.
you.
It's just that-
So if you could get us your most recent 990, I think that would be helpful. Because I think the scale of the operation has changed since 2013
Yeah.
till now.
Oh, definitely,
It
yes,
sounds like-
definitely has
So
changed.
I'd like our legal to reconsider based on the most recent 990.
And I was also troubled with some of the things in your letter that you read to us that we have. I would not be comfortable taking action tonight without addressing some of the concerns Ms. Barker's made, so I really am not comfortable taking this up this evening.
Yep.
Sorry to keep you here.
I am not either.
Great.
All right. Are we in
Yeah.
agreement?
Yes, and when we're looking into this further, could we also look into the language from Northampton?
Right. That's troublesome as well.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to yell
Can we also make sure to invite her back? so
Yeah, I was
she's
just
not
going to say
having
that,
to-
yes.
Yes, we'll do a
On it.
full re-review of this.
Great, okay.
Yeah, I've been watching this, and I've been watching it, and finally the packet came up, so it was very
Yeah.
last minute, so.
Yeah,
What,
Appreciate
we would like, first of all, we need to do our due diligence, Mr. Dean.
Yes.
And then I would like a review of this. And then prior to scheduling this, I would like to reach out to Ms. Barker and have a conversation through
Yes.
your office so that
We'll do that.
not only does she know when the meeting is, but she has an idea of what we have found. So
Sure.
we are appreciative of your time tonight.
Hold that.
Thank you
There
for staying
go.
so late.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
And thank you for coming and reading your letter. It was helpful.
And they're very small lines on the forms that you're told you have to fill out, so you can't put all this in the form.
See attached.
Well, no,
That's what I have to write.
I was told I can't do that.
Oh,
It has to go on the form.
Yeah, this
The
is why
forms are very important, so.
All right.
The 990 is definitely, the most recent 990 is important. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night. Madam Clerk.
Okay, I'm not going to do this one. I just put it on hold. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of one, so patience if you would please indulge me. Okay, so I'll start with abatements, and map 74, lot 129, in the amount of $211.70 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
I move for an abatement for map 72, lot 123, in the amount of $2,414.10 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to skip down the denied ones for now, Joanna. Map 47, lot 9, unit 1, in the amount of $13,675.17 for the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I am going to move two together. Both are denied. One is map 65, lot 113. The other is map 65, lot 127, unit A. Both denied, and both of the tax year 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I am on to disability exemptions. I move for map 103, lot 13, unit 30, be denied for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move for map 103, lot 13, unit 31, in the amount of $125,000 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I am now under solar exemptions. I move for map 90, lot 29, in the amount of $10,000, and map 38, lot 11, in the amount of $10,000, both for the tax year 2025.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I am now on to elderly exemptions. I'm going to move a few at a time, so please bear with me. This one's all over the place. So I move for map 65, lot 59, map 55, lot 14, map 96, lot 2, unit 11, and map 104, lot 79, unit 1008, each in the amount of $152,251, and each for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I'm going to, Joanne, I'm going to save the denied for last. I'm moving map 87, lot 14, unit 6B, for the amount of $183,751 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move Mr. Chair, map 64, lot 105, unit 24, in the amount of $236,251 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And if I'm doing this correctly, I am moving for map 64, lot 105, unit 4, map 47, lot 81, I'm going to try this one again. Map 47, lot 8, unit 104, and map 90, lot 11, all, or each to be denied, each for the tax year 2025.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I am now on to veterans credits, and I move for map 87, lot 8, Unit C-18, and map 54, Lot 4, Unit 125, in the amount of $2,000 each, and each for the tax year 2025.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move for map 54, Lot 4, Unit 125, and map 54, Lot 4, Unit 34, each in the amount of $500, and each for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move map 94, Lot 24, Unit 3, be denied for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You good?
I'm good. Just allergies. My voice cracks, but just bear with me. Okay.
Let's see.
I am on charitable educational exemptions. I move, and they got smaller too, map 71, lot 119, unit E, in the amount of $62,300 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 62, lot 112, in the amount of $3,555,000 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 108, lot 1, in the amount of $337,100 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 64, lot 41, unit E, in the amount of $2,864,500 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 64, lot 42, in the amount of $1,277,200 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 64, lot 43, in the amount of $1,861,800 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 64, lot 46, in the amount of $1,540,000. Excuse me, I'm going to say that amount again. $1,540,100 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move for map 71, lot 119, unit E, in the amount of $4,934,800 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move for map 72, lots 162, unit E, in the amount of $1,119,500 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I move for map 72, lot 169, unit E, in the amount of $23,366,500 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 72, lot 204, unit 1E, in the amount of $545,200 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 72, lot 208, unit E, in the amount of $497,500 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Map 72, Lot 209, Unit E, in the amount of $30,888,800 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Map 83, Lot 1E, in the amount of $29,884,000 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Map 83, Lot 87, in the amount of $1,492,900 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Map 86, Lot 11, Unit 11, for the amount of $119,300 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to do two together. Map 86, Lot 11, Unit 12, and Map 86, Lot 11, Unit 14, each in the amount of $116,600 for the tax years 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Map number 86, Lot 11, Unit 15, for the amount of $119,300 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 63, Lot 8, in the amount of $328,300 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 35, Lot 4, in the amount of $553,400 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 97, Lot 23, Unit E, in the amount of $24,200,000 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion?
Accusing.
Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Joanna, it's 4-0 with Mr. Chartrand recusing.
Map 86, Lot 8, Unit 1, in the amount of $240,100 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 86, Lot 8, Unit 2, in the amount of $238,600 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 87, Lot 36, Unit E, in the amount of $812,000 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 65, Lot 146, in the amount of $2,735,100 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 73, Lot 292, in the amount of $592,000 for the tax year 2025.
Aye. Or second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 72, Lot 206, for the amount of $1,581,600 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 72, Lot 215, in the amount of $546,800, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 82, Lot 13, in the amount of $4,097,900, tax year 2025.
Second. Oops, sorry.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 72, Lot 9, in the amount of $1,515,800 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You're in the stretch drive.
I am.
Doing a great job. Thank you.
Religious exemptions. Map 83, Lot 60, in the amount of $3,359,200 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 91, Lot 32, in the amount of $2,879,900, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 72, Lot 222, in the amount of $952,100, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 72, Lot 222, Unit E, in the amount of $1,020,200, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Sorry, eyes were getting blurry
It's
there
okay.
for a minute. Okay, map 73, map 73, Lot 143, in the amount of $1,051,000 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 29, Lot 26, in the amount of $1,546,700, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 29, Lot 21, in the amount of $578,100, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 95, Lot 61, in the amount of $777,500, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 72, Lot 166, in the amount of $1,578,400, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 91, Lot 35, in the amount of $1,342,900, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 72, Lot 165, in the amount of, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's the $665,200, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 73, Lot 5, in the amount of $564,100 for tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 73, Lot 300, in the amount of $1,668,900 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 73, Lot 299, in the amount of $2,246,100 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's it, right?
No.
Oh, sorry, I was celebrating too soon. Oh, next page.
Almost there.
I think I need them just a little bit bigger. Anyway, okay. Map Oh, I'm in charitable exemption hospital now. I moved from map 65, lot 28, in the amount of $42,400 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 65, lot 129, unit 1, in the amount of $12,434,400 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 65, lot 130, in the amount of $14,928,400, tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 65, lot 131, in the amount of $51,821,200 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 65, lot 131, unit 3, in the amount of $3,988,700 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Map 71, lot, I said 148 or 48? Okay, 48. Unit E, in the amount of $74,800 for the tax year 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very well
If
done.
I could maybe get those just a little bigger, it would be, they just shrunk. The first page was okay.
Very well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joanna, thank you.
Joanna's always got my back, too. I know that one. She follows along.
All right. Mr. Dean, clerk needs a little bit of a breather, so town manager's report, please.
All right. So we have some Unitil gas main replacement work about to start on Water Street and High Street. They'll be doing Water Street from Dewey Street to Salem Street beginning Monday, May 5th. That's expected to take 2 to 3 weeks. And then they'll start on High Street immediately after Water Street is completed. The work zone will be from Drinkwater Road to Langdon Ave and include all of Langdon Ave from High Street to Star Avenue. Again, expected to take 4 to 5 weeks. The majority of High Street work will take place within the sidewalk and should have minimal impact on traffic. So that is that update. Deeding notices are going out. People's bills are due to be paid by June 6th. There are 68 properties on the list. 2/3 of them are mobile homes. And so we'll be following up on that through the tax office. The DES and Sportsman's Club met with us 2 weeks ago to talk about issues related to the club, and we're going to continue to follow up with them on that. The solar array is the meter, the letter the board authorized me to write to Unitil worked, and we're going to have the meter in by the end of May. So
Fantastic.
good news
Great.
on the solar array.
And it'll come online after that?
It will 5 to 6 weeks in working order, and we should be able to have it up and running.
Damn.
Summer, perfect.
Yeah. So good news.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for sending that letter.
Sure thing. From the fire department, Deb Crest at Exeter Hospital approved EMS going to the emergency room for training for their rapid sequence intubation. So that was a big win for the fire department. Wanted to report on that to the board. And also let you know that Madison Bailey received her master's degree in public health.
Oh, congratulations.
Good
Nice.
for her.
Yep, kudos to Madison. Great job on that. I was able to attend the Planet Playground farewell, which went very good, and appreciated everybody being there, and that was a good event for the town. The farmers market is beginning on May 1st, and they've been working with Madison Bailey, our health officer, to get up and running. And I was able to attend Paul Vlasich's retirement party last Friday, which was also very good, so enjoyed myself.
No, I'm sorry. I missed
Yes.
that.
And SB 297 is in the Commerce Committee at the House. The hearing went very well, according to Health Trust, and so we'll be hearing hopefully good things coming out of that process. There was a lot of opposition to the bill, which is good to see.
Good.
So, and I think that's all I had.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Dean?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
But again, thank you on that communication with Unitil.
You're very welcome.
That's awesome.
Great news.
Yep.
Select Board Committee reports. Selectwoman Gilman, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I had an HTC meeting, which we looked at property at 89 Front Street. You'll notice Amos Tuck House, big Victorian with a barn, and it has an archway porte cochere. That was the big point of discussion there. We saw this building about 3 years ago when someone wanted to put an addition on the back. Now there's somebody new that owns it, and they want to put an addition on the back. Take down the one we approved 3 years ago and put on a new one. So, that's their right. But they want to connect the two buildings, and it's putting a rather substantial piece of work between the two buildings than what you see now. So it was a long talk, a lot of discussion about this piece, and that, it's always been sort of subtle in the connection of them. And now it's going to be more prominent. But that was it was a split decision on the board, and it's going on for approval. The Heritage Commission is going to be holding on May 13th a public meeting for around the Pine Street survey, historic survey that was done. And it's just a presentation of the findings. The report's already on the website. We've sent letters to the property owners in the area that was surveyed. And I just want to warn people, it was surveyed just about its history, not for any other purpose than to recognize the neighborhood. And there's quite an interesting growth pattern there, when there used to be about half of the area was made of greenhouses. And I had no idea. All the things I know about the town, I had no idea about these greenhouses. And that is about it. And I will say, just from the State House, again, I'll keep it very simple. The Senate is having their one and only public hearing on the budget on May 6th at 1 p.m. at the Representative Hall in Concord. So if you want to have your voice heard directly, that is the one time that you get to do it, unless you call your senator or all senators. They are upholding the House's cuts and probably will be making more. Call the governor, call everyone you know. And there was one other thing on that. I think that's it.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much. Selectwoman Belanger.
Okay.
The 6th.
So I attended the Planet Playground send-off on Saturday the 19th. I will let our chair, because he spoke, as did the chair of the Rec Advisory Board, though I will share one story that she shared that our chair probably won't. One of her memories, her first memories when they moved here, was Nico getting stuck on one of the pieces of equipment on the playground trying to do it with their son. It was pretty funny. I know the image, right? Anyway, sorry, Nico, I had to share that.
I was a bit more limber in those days.
Anyway, and then we had our Select Board Goal session on the 21st. My Arts and Culture Commission meeting on April 22nd, and my Rec Advisory Board meeting on April 23rd. Both were canceled for quorum reasons. I had a Planning Board meeting on April 24th. One of the applications was granted, and that was 57 Portsmouth Ave, 6 townhouse-style residential condominium units. The other was the application for Wiley Creek. I recused myself, but I did listen to it, and I know how the vote was, that they listened to it for design review. That ended, and they requested formal application, so it's not on an agenda yet until the planning board receives that. And at the end of the meeting, they decided they're going to restructure next month. They also talked about 2 surveys. One you'll probably touch base with on the Pearpoint Park because Jen Martell is on the planning board. But the other is Gwen English is the rep to Rockingham Planning Commission. So there's a survey that she really asked us all to take, and it's their regional planning for master plan. So anybody listening, please go to our website and take that survey. And then in our packet was the J.D. Hill. And just for background, those issues for the J.D. Hill neighborhood came up during a planning board process, and I think that's why she sent it to me directly. But, and I'm sorry I missed Paul's retirement.
I know.
And that's it for me.
Great, thank you very much. Selectwoman Count?
I have nothing to report.
Okay, Selectman Chartran?
We have the Facilities Advisory Committee meeting on Wednesday, the 23rd of April. We did begin that space needs assessment process. It was very interesting. Selectwoman Gilman was there as well. Thank you for being there.
Sure.
They began to shape up an objective and a goal with the ultimate purpose of putting something in the CIP to hire a consultant to help us with understanding sort of the most efficient way to sort of use all of our public buildings. So it was very much not specific, and it was very much sort of overarching. And I got a lot out of it. It's a great committee. It has a lot of facilities and building professionals on it, and they're operating at a pretty high level. I did put a caveat in at the beginning of the meeting that, of course, we would have to hear from staff very much, because this is actually the places where they work, and everyone agreed that a robust staff input on this was so important. And then the other caveat I put out was that our maintenance department is very understaffed right now, and any suggestions that might go to, utilizing the maintenance staff should be made with great care, and they heard that, and they acknowledged it. There was also a train station meeting on Thursday, the 24th. And as you heard from John, we're still waiting to hear from the select board on how they want to proceed with that. And then finally, on Saturday, the 26th, we had another styrofoam recycling collection event at DPW. The first time we did it in early January, I think we gathered 10.5 sacks. This time, these giant sacks, right? And this time we had 16.5 sacks. Wow. We actually exceeded the capacity of Keith Whitehouse to haul it to Guilford. So there are 4 sacks sitting in one of the kind of in-between bays in DPW. And I think it's going to go up there at some point this week.
Terrific.
Yeah, it was very successful.
That's exciting.
That's great. It rained and you still had a great turnout.
Yeah, it was very exciting.
My daughters visited from Rhode Island, and when they told me they were coming, I said, bring all your styrofoam.
There you go. Perfect. So that happened, and I want to thank, again, DPW for hosting us and allowing us to use their facility up there. It's really a great facility for this purpose. So that's my report.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Pearpoint Park Committee, there is a survey that is out based on the three.
I took it.
Based on the 3 different plans that Jen Martell drew up. And again, the plan is to have something before the select board in June. So we will wait patiently for that. I attended the Planet Playground festivities on the 19th. It was also the Easter egg hunt. And as the chair of the Rec Advisory Committee so appropriately corrected me, it was not a farewell to Planet Playground, but it was the next generation of Planet Playground. So she was absolutely correct in putting me in my place there. But It was great to see so many people there that actually volunteered to plan a playground, and people coming back with their kids. Some of them were adult kids who played on it originally, and
A lot of those little pike, what did you call them? Those back things that were going out.
so kudos to Greg and Parks and Rec for identifying all of the spikes with folks' names will be returned to them, those that are still around to grab
Yeah,
them.
and some of the people that weren't still living here, other people knew them, so they took them for them to give them to them.
Exactly. It was
community day.
a great place, a gem for this town for so many decades. And I said on the 19th, and I'll say again, that even the strongest built ship can only endure so many crashing waves before it's time to rest. So we will look forward to Planet Playground version 2.0. I want to thank Bill Keegan for facilitating our goal-setting session on April 21st, and Mr. Dean will look forward to getting his plan hopefully soon, rather his plan, but his summary. And I apologize I was not able to go to Paul Vlasser's retirement party, but we spoke, and I hope to catch up with him soon. And want to thank him publicly for all of the years of service to the town of Exeter, and for, you just drive around town and Paul's fingerprints are everywhere. So good career, great legacy, and I know he'll be back to help us out in the future. So I'd also like to just remind folks that on May 7th at 5:30 in this room will be the Exeter Accessibility Forum. That was in our packet as correspondence, but it's important enough that I really want to bring that up again and remind people. Hopefully we have a good turnout. So with that, we can jump to the...
What time is the accessibility?
5:30.
5:30, thank you.
I was about ready to skip over correspondence. In our correspondence, we do have a copy of the letter that the person spoke to at our last meeting. Wanted to include that in the packet. We have the J.D. Hill email that you alluded to and my
Thank you for
response
getting
back.
that in.
And let's see, Xfinity with some updated information on their programming. And from the Department of Revenue Administration, the final results of the monitoring activity of the 2024 sale inspections for the town of Exeter. And lastly, if I'm not missing anything, is the NHMA bulletin. Jumping to our calendar, I'll go slowly. May 12th, May 19th, June 2nd, June 16th, June 30th, July 14th, July 28th, and August 11th
And I won't be here on the 12th
of
May.
That is correct. We did the 19th in lieu of the, okay. That actually, you know what, I'm glad we did that because you'll be back for the third reading.
Right.
Good, okay. Any questions on the calendar? Okay. If there's no other business then before the board, I'd entertain a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A.
Do you want to say something?
Oh, I'm sorry,
No, just-
Selectwoman Gilman. Go ahead.
No, it's my airheadedness, not yours, but just before we close the meeting or go into non-public, I just wanted to urge people who are interested in how much money is getting squished down to the local taxpayers. There's a good slideshow and a discussion and description on a nonpartisan group in the New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute's webpage. If you look at the NHFPI, you'll get the straight story, the straight dope about what there is. And just to let you know, several of the mandating zoning laws that have been proposed here are being pulled off the consent calendar. They passed through their committee mandating that you must do this zoning this way in every town, every city. And there's been enough backsplash on that one, pushback on that one, that those ones that they're being pulled off consent and will be debated on the floor. So I'm kind of excited.
I've been following them. Some of them are just concerning.
Thank you.
So.
No, thank you. There's no other business? Then I would entertain a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A 32A, B, and C.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please.
Selectman Chartran.
Aye.
Selectwoman Cowan.
Aye.
Selectwoman Gilman.
Aye.
Clerk says aye. Mr. Chair.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. The board will be going into non-public. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.